And then there were two. Welcome to our daily wrap-up show with me, Tarquin Cooper, on day 12 of the 2023 Red Bull X-Alps. Today saw another athlete make goal, and what an extraordinary event it was. It may be almost a week since the rest of the pack came in, but nonetheless it was still the same excitement for James Elliott. Extraordinary scenes here with Team Canada. Whoops and cheers from the shoreline at Zell as he made it into goal. Didn't quite make the float. There's a strong breeze coming through. We were actually worried at one point that he was gonna get down at all. He was coming in on full bar. That's basically where you tilt your glider, maximum speed coming in. He was getting very little forward distance. His ground speed dropped to just a few kilometers an hour, but eventually he was able to make it down. Didn't quite make the float, but he did get on it eventually, where his teammates all jumped up and down and sprayed beer over everyone, including me and the gear. Yeah, I think the microphone still smells of a bit of beer. So it's been a long day for James. Yesterday he had a terrible day yesterday. I was hiking pretty much alongside Ellie Egger and Logan Walters, and anyone following live tracking would have seen those three coming along together, and he just had a shocker day. He only managed about 15 kilometers, but he dug deep and just cracked on, and that's what you've got to do in this race. Fortunately, time was on his side, and he was able to just have a better day today, and it was on foot. Somewhere along the way he lost a toenail. But apart from that, he seemed in pretty good spirits, good shape. His calves were bulging, a little bit red from the sunburn. He mentioned that he's, in a previous life, he was in the infantry. He's got that military mindset of just cracking on, and he was in great spirits. And it was fun to hang with the Team Canada. They're a great crew, and big hats off to Team Canada, because they are the first ever team from Canada to complete the Red Bull X-Alps. So congratulations to them. I'm sure they will be celebrating hard tonight. Speaking of celebrations, I just had supper in town, and the waitress was telling me that someone called Paul Guschelbauer, she said, was here about 5 nights ago with some guy from Switzerland, and they drank a lot, she said. So yeah, quite a few parties going on here in Zell. The big ones tomorrow night. We all can't wait for that. But before then, we've still got nearly 9, 10, 11. We've got 12, 13, 14 hours, 14 and a half hours left on this. So spare a thought. Put yourself into the mind of the two athletes still out there, Emoto Yuji and Jordi Vibalta. Now, sadly, we did have some video footage of Jordi. It's somewhere lost in the ether of the internet. We weren't able to download it in time to show you. But he was on fire this morning, getting up and over Tarquin Cooper, the famous Via Ferrata, very famous Via Ferrata, right next to the Trecime di Lavaredo, which the Germans, of course, know as Dreisinnen. Interesting history to that whole area, but we'll save that for another time. I was talking, I think it was the safety director or someone, one of the officials or one of the photographers, saying it was very hard just to keep up with him. So he's Spain's top hike and fly athlete. He's having a great race. The podium means nothing. It really means nothing. He's doing superbly well. And whether he can make goal, though, it's very unlikely, I think, at this stage of the game. He's just above Sexton. He's been waiting all day for a weather window, but it's just been blowing too hard. The wind is the key issue here. It's just been really, really strong. So I think we shall see Jordi as the only athlete who's managed to stay the distance, not make goal. Very sadly for him, but what a great performance. But that leaves Japanese man Emoto Yuji, a mountain guide who's actually based in France. He's done a lot of climbing all over the world, and he is psyched. He is determined. My colleague Joanna spoke to his team earlier this evening, and he's on fire. And we reckon he can make it. He's got a couple of hours left tonight. He's just on the wrong side of the Großglockner, but if he can get up and over that, it's only 30 kilometers, and if you kind of do the math, as they say, 30k, well, on the flat, do that in 3 hours. But this isn't the flat. So I think a healthy mountain pace is about probably 5 or 6k an hour. He's exhausted. He's been on the go for 12 days, so call it 5k an hour, 7 hours, something like that. I think he could, if he can get off the Großglockner in a couple of hours, he can set off at 6 in the morning, be on the valley floor by 8 o'clock, a couple of hours Mittersill, couple of hours to the next village where the turn off is, so that takes him to 10. Oh, it's getting close. Maybe an hour and a half up to the top. It's pushing it, but it absolutely, it can be done. It can be done, and I hope that you watching give him lots of juju, send him some love, and we'll certainly be rooting for Emoto Yuji in these last final hours to see if he can make it to goal. He's not the first Japanese athlete to make it. Of course, Kaori Ogisawa had that honour back in 2007, a long time ago. Amazing to think he was still competing. I think it was in the last edition or the one before that. But anyway, it's not over yet, folks, so stay tuned. There'll be no live tomorrow morning at 8:30, but I will be going live at the end of the race.